Legend of Total War here, and today we've got a Rating Your Doomstack video covering Wurzag the Great Green Prophet with a Rogue Idol Doomstack where something very interesting is going on. So this guy has managed to achieve the physical resistance cap for Rogue Idols, getting it to 90%, but he couldn't figure out exactly how he did it. So if you add up all of the bonuses, it doesn't make sense, okay? So we're going to do a little bit of investigating at the moment. I figured out exactly what it was, but I'm going to show you how, how I figured it out for the physical resistance. So if you have a look at them, they've currently got 70% physical resistance. Now, he's also playing as the Broken Axe, and he has the Mork's Blood Pudding, so he's got access to Ghostly Protection. 15% physical resistance. Now, this doesn't add up right now. So when we jump into any battle, and the battle begins, this will jump up to 85%. Now, Wurzag also has this ability here. Warpaint of Wurzag. As long as he's within 35-meter radius of them, he'll provide an additional physical resistance buff, getting these guys here to 90%. However, if we add up all of the bonuses, it doesn't make sense. There's actually about 20% physical resistance not accounted for. So, first thing we have to do is look at a different army and see what the global bonuses are to physical resistance currently. So, we go over here and we have a look, and we can see Rogue Idol has 25% physical resistance, 40 if you consider that, right? So, where is that coming from? We got 15% physical resistance coming from the bigger Scalish trophy. And in the tech tree, we've got 10% physical resistance for Rogue Idol units. Okay? Global bonus resistances, check. Okay, that seems fine. So baseline for these guys here should be 25%. Now, that means that if we minus off 25% from 70, there's 45% physical resistance not accounted for. So we need to find out what that is. Now, the guy in the email suspected that the Rogue Idols are being considered Savage Orcs and are getting the physical resistance plus 20% for Savage Orc units. I can confirm that that's not correct. They are not considered Savage Orc units. They're not getting the reduced upkeep cost bonuses, and they're definitely not getting the physical resistance bonus for it. And we can confirm that by using the one-button respec mod and setting Wurzag back down to 0. But before we do that, let's have a look at what skills he's currently got active and see if we can account for that 45%. Now, I already went looking through his equipment. Nothing here provides physical resistance for the entire army. Okay, you got real savage boys over here. No physical resistance, no physical resistance. Yeah. Here we go. So, Colossal Warpaint is providing 20% physical resistance for trolls, giants, Arachnarok spiders, Rogue Idol units, and an additional 5% physical resistance for any unit that's in his army. So, that's 25%, right? And then there's nothing else in here that provides physical resistance. This one here is missile resistance. And this one over here is just weapon strength and melee attack, right? Now, if we have a look over here, we've got a Lava Arachnarok Spider in the army. So if we have a look at this one, the physical resistance is 40%. So it's getting the 15% from here and the 25% from Wurzag skills. So what's going on here that these Rogue Idols are getting 45%? Well, let's figure this out. Let's firstly reset the skills, okay, and then have a look at these Rogue Idols. They are now at 25%. So that means that this trait here is definitely not providing any physical resistance for them, because this guy has the same physical resistance as the ones that would be in that army. So something in Wurzag's skill line is providing them with 45% physical resistance. So let's isolate exactly what that is. I already know what it is. So let's get to this point here and confirm that it hasn't gone up any at all, because it all comes down to Colossal Warpaint, right? Having a look once again at this one here, it's at 15%, exactly where it should be. Now, when we hit Colossal Warpaint here, something very interesting is happening. Now remember, just basic maths, 25% right there, okay? And 25% should hit 50%. So, let's do some maths, guys. 25 plus 25 equals 70. So there's an extra 20 not being accounted for there. But what did it? The simplest explanation is that this description here doesn't actually translate what's actually happening in the programming side of things. What's happening here is that somebody has written in a duplicate line of code specifically for the physical resistance for rogue idols, because it isn't being applied to trolls, giants, and arachnarok spiders, only to rogue idols. That line is in the game twice. The physical resistance plus 5% isn't being applied twice because they're getting 45% bonuses. So they're not getting 50%, they're getting 45. So yeah, there's somebody at CA has simply copy pasted rogue idol 20% and it's just in there twice. That's all there is to it. So yeah, they're getting double buffed by the biggest buff in the game that you can really get, 20% physical resistance, and that's what's happening here. So what we're going to do is just get everything back up to where it was, fight a battle. It's on very hard battle difficulty, and we're going to see how ridiculous this actually performs. Okay, and need to get all that back up as well. The guy doesn't need the save file back, so we don't have to get it exactly how it was. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, everything's exactly how it was in terms of the strength of this army. Let's do this. So we're going to go up against 4 full stacks. It's on very hard battle difficulty. Yep. Auto Resolve gives us a Pyrrhic victory with only the Lava Arachnarok getting wiped out. And we're going up against 4 full stacks of Endgame Crisis units. So it's pretty strong in Auto Resolve. It's also incredibly expensive. I'm going to pop down some banners and let's jump into the battle. Now, the Banner of Eternal Flame. This is going to be the eternal argument that I'm going to forever have to make. Why in this episode am I putting on the Banner of Eternal Flame on this army, but in the previous one I wouldn't put it on? You tailor this banner to what you're going up against. Does anybody here have any fire weakness? No, there's no fire weakness or fire strength. Sorry, there might be fire weakness, but there's no fire strength in the army. Do they have any trolls whatsoever? No. Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, so there's some units in here that are weak against fire, and there are no units that are strong against fire. So there's no downside to putting this on, so it's fine. Because yeah, when I got this save file here and looked at it, I was baffled by how they were getting that extra physical resistance. I had to use the 1-button respec mod and just basically reset what was going on and try and figure it out. But you know, with a bit of investigating, it's not too hard to figure it out. But yeah, double buffs.
It's okay, it's just a beta.
Just enough to get the physical resistance cap. So we can see here they're still at 70%. Once the battle begins, they will go up to 85. Now, I want to use a formation here that I'm going to call the burger. Okay? These guys here are the buns. And the Arachnarok spider and Wurzag is going to be the meat. Or the cheese, however you want to look at it. Okay? Because they don't need to be in combat at all. They just need to be protected. The Arachnarok spider provides a Mortis Engine effect, and it doesn't require being in melee. Okay. So, let's move up. Now, Lava Arachnaroks are faster than Rogue Idols, so we're going to have to babysit them a little bit to stay in the middle. It's not the best burger, it's a bit lopsided. It's alright. Yeah, if you have a look now, it's at 90% because of Ghostly Protection and also Spirit of Gork. So this one here wouldn't be getting it at the moment because it's not within its range. Because we're the attacker, they're just going to sit there and wait for their reinforcements, but that's okay. Yeah. These ones over here, could you come a little more over this way? Still really slow units. Also, putting Wurzag in the middle here, getting the smash him faster, would be good for the extra melee attack for them. So we should be absolutely smashing them. Now, he's chosen an enemy as well that really can't do much about this. Because it's all physical resistance, physical attacks. I don't think there's really much in here that's got... hang on. Yeah, nobody's got any magical attacks. So, they're really quite screwed. Now, if you want to make this army even stronger, what you could do is somehow steal a life wizard. Yeah, ally with a high elf, wood elf, empire, Bretonnian, just somebody, and get a life wizard so you can actually heal them. But that would be very difficult to do with greenskins since they are mostly a very hated race. That would require a lot of bribing. How about you just walk? Might be a little bit easier for you. Alright, if we pop down a foot of Gork in there, they might start coming at us. Let's go here. No. Alright, burger formation it up. Protect the meaty bun cheese. And here we go, let's see what these guys can do. So this one over here is... Yep, they're all their physical resistance cap except for maybe this guy at the back. No, they've all got it. So yeah, as long as Wurzag stays in here. We have a look at him. Yep, as long as they stay in there, they're starting to pull out a little bit. Move them back in. Back in. You can see they're just not taking any damage at all. Like this one here is getting shot at. Yeah. Even at 90% physical resistance, they'll still take a little bit of damage. And then what we do is to get rid of the archers, we use Foot of Gork. Keep bringing them back in. Okay, maybe bring that up. You come over here a little bit. Just like burgers in real life, things are falling apart. The best burgers fall apart. That down. And yeah, we are just not taking damage. Just not taking damage at all. And the Lava Arachnarok is getting lots of damage in now because its Mortis Engine effect is being kicked in. No, Wurzag, what? I didn't tell you to go there. Get you out. In an explosion. Come on, guys, fight together, fight together. Things getting all over the place. Get over here. Stay near Wurzag. You want that extra 5%. Because that 5% means 33% less damage.
What? How does that work? How does 5% equals 33%?
Well, think about it, right? If they're at 85%, then they take 15% damage. If they're at 90%, then they take 10%, which is 33% less. That's it, Wurzag. Just stay in there. Stay in there. And just let these guys do their thing. We're probably not going to get the big war coming in, which would also provide additional physical resistance. But yeah, you kind of need infantry if you want to get that. We're just not getting enough points in. The battle's going to be over before that point. So guys, try to stay together as much as possible. These guys have a habit of, fighting and pushing forward, not standing still. The Arachnarok Spider is probably going to get the most amount of damage. I think that's a really good choice putting the Arachnarok Spider in there, for sure. Yeah. The only thing I could possibly think to make this stronger is a healer, which it is possible for you to get. It's difficult. Okay, we could also pop down an Here We Go for even more melee attack. And yeah, they're just not taking damage. We're getting shot at. They're in melee with like Black Orcs and stuff. And these guys here, they just can't dish out damage to them. Like, they've got no melee defense as well, Rogue Idols. Well, next to no melee defense. They just can't dish out any damage. If there was any magical attacks in this army, then yeah, that would be a bit of a problem. You need magical attacks and armor piercing in order to dish out damage. And of course, if there was anyone here with any fire resistance, I would not have put down the fire banner. You gotta check that kind of stuff with that banner. And I've had so many disaster battles sent in with people using that fire banner, then going up to Tyrion, and they're like, "This game's so stupid, I can't dish out any damage to Tyrion." It's like, well, that's because you're using flaming attacks, you moron. You know? Strong against fire. I don't understand why fire attacks aren't working. But shouldn't fire attacks always be better than non-fire attacks? No. No, it's not how it works. The only situation where a particular type of attack is always better than any other type of attack is magic damage. It's always better to have magical weapons in Warhammer 3. In Warhammer 2 it wasn't the case. In fact, it was actually detrimental at the time to have magical attacks. Especially against dwarfs. Unless you had Wurzag, who strips them of them. Man, look at this. They've already lost 2,000 troops, and we've barely taken a scratch. Could Foot of Gork that over there, but I kind of don't want to do too much Foot of Gorkin. Because it's on a similar tier to... Dwellers Below in terms of like cost effectiveness. Like 6 Winds of Magic for that huge explosion is really bloody good. Use it a couple of times just to showcase how to use it on what, but we don't want to win off the back of it. We want to win off the back of the Rogue Idols, which clearly is the case. They are. Some of them are getting more kills than others just because of the blob, the nature of the blob. Some of them aren't fighting. This one here. Yeah, that's getting loads of damage in. I'm try to stick together. Although, even at 85%, I don't think they're going to do much to us. But yeah, this guy essentially perfected this army. I don't think there's anything more he could have done to make this army any stronger. Apart from, you know, the Life Wizard. Got all the correct buffs. Got the right faction with the right lord. Now, I already double-checked to see if other units were getting double buffed, like the Rogue Idols, and confirmed that it isn't. It's only the Rogue Idols. So, Giants, Trolls, Arachnarok Spiders, they're not getting double buffed. The buff is working correctly for them. It's just Rogue Idols. Yeah, I tell you what, it's not very often that a person kind of sends it in a situation so interesting that I'll actually use a mod to see what the hell is going on with it. It's like, I just couldn't figure out what was causing that extra 20%. And there's no point just suspecting things as well. You gotta get evidence. You gotta figure out exactly what it is. Because if you just make an assumption, then that's how misinformation gets out. Because, like, his assumption was that they were considered savage orcs, which didn't make sense. And I can confirm 100% that it's not the case. Especially considering, like, some buffs from the savage orcs were being applied and other ones weren't. That doesn't make sense. They're either savage orcs or they're not, and they are not savage orcs.
Let's go.
Yeah, letting them shoot at us doesn't matter. They just can't dish any serious damage. We've also got missile resistance as well, but we're at the physical resistance cap, and they're physical missiles, so they're not going to do any damage.
Less savage. Austin. Great words, eh?
So just, as much as possible, try to keep them together. But yeah, if we did have a life wizard, I'd probably only need like 2 or 3 Earthbloods anyway, because Earthblood is way more powerful in Warhammer 3 compared to 2 on a unit like Rogue Idols and a Ragnarok Spies because of their high hit point pools. We've also got this ability here, but meh, don't need it. Alright, I'll use Foot of Gork on this one here, because they're actually quite likely to hit their own units. And that's not going to do any damage to us. No, not really.
More spells is strong.
They actually cause the army loss with that. But yeah, ridiculously strong. Ridiculous. There are some armies that it would struggle against. Anything that had a lot of magical attacks would be a problem. So demons, beware. But if you're going up against physical attackers, this is basically unstoppable. Because yeah, demons will just bypass all of that. Like they'll still, like for example, let's just say you went up against an army of Khorne demons, they'll still do alright, but the Khorne demons will dish out a lot of damage. If you're going up against Tzeentch, that would be a problem. Slaanesh. Nurgle, Nurgle just doesn't really have any damage dealing to deal with single entities very well. Okay, so rating this.
Let's do it.
The army is bugged. It's not his fault that it's bugged, so I feel like it's fair game to rate it. In terms of practicality, it's very expensive. I don't think it really matters that much, considering how strong it is. Like, the amount of upkeep is kind of reflected by its value. In terms of strength, I'm going to actually give it a number rating. I'm going to give it 45 out of 25. You know why. And in terms of ease of use, it's really easy to use. So this is a very good Doom stack. Very expensive. I mean, Rogue Idols are a tier 5 unit, so you're not going to get it in the early stages of the game. But when you do have access to it, because of the way that Wurzag is currently bugged, definitely get these units over Trolls. Because, yeah, I mean, you could still do the Troll Doom stack with him. He's got so many different potential Doom stacks. But this one here being double buffed is just like a go-to thing. Of course, if you're not playing as the Broken Axe, you're not getting Ghostly Protection, then you're going to miss out on 15% physical resistance. Same thing as if you don't get the bigger Scalies trophies. But even if you just get this and this tech here, and forget about the other ways of getting physical resistance, you'll still end up with 55%. Which is pretty damn massive. That means they're going to take half damage from all attackers that don't have magical weapons. Plus the missile resistance, which you can get through here. Cool. So that's my rating of it. Really good Doom stack. Thanks for this guy for sending it in. But yeah, Wurzag currently double buffing the Rogue Idols, which is hilarious. Unless, of course, you're going up against this. But likely the AI doesn't realize that certain things are bugged. and the AI will, typically speaking, not spam these units. So if you do encounter Wurzag, as like AI Wurzag, and he has some rogue idols in the army, bring some magical attack, because otherwise you're going to have some problems with them. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Appreciate you. There will not be a video tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be the beginning of the 24-hour live stream. I'll put a countdown timer in the description so that you guys know exactly when it's going to be, but it's going to be going for 24 hours. It's going to be a This is Total War campaign. You guys know what it's going to be, which faction, one that I've been holding off for a while. And we've got all the charities lined up. I'll reveal what they are tomorrow. But yeah, I hope you guys can show up to the live stream, and hopefully we can have a strong end of the year. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.